It's full time. Man United 3, Coventry 3. The game went ahead to end in penalties, and United managed to obviously score 4. Coventry managed to obviously go out and really score 2. One saved by Hojlund Onana, and the other was really whisked over the bar. Welcome to the United Matters channel. How are you guys and where are you watching us from? I tell you what, as a fan of Man United, I'm excited to be in the final. That is it. I won't lie. I'm excited to be in the final, but I tell you, there is no why we're in the final. The best side to play in the final was supposed to be Coventry because we cannot really control the game. Even when we find ourselves ahead of a team like Coventry, we find ourselves bottling these games of football. And this is really very clear that the players and the manager are all to blame for this, because you can't tell me that you play of Man United, you go 3 goals up and you really lose like that. You really lose like that. Erik ten Hag is going to hate to make his mistakes. The players are going to hate to make their own mistakes. And I'm going to come in here and really tell you as to why this game was not supposed to even be played for 120 minutes to go in the final. Why for God's sake, would a team of Man United play this side until the penalties? This is very stupid, and I tell you, I'm really bitter at what is going to happen to the club of Man United tonight, because I think we are supposed to do better. I think we deserve to be doing better as a club of Man United. And let's see close to 300 likes matching this video. Don't forget to subscribe so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Now, I told you in the match day live that we shouldn't underestimate the effort of this side. That's what I told you. And for everyone who thought that I was lying, you've got to see exactly how things really turn up. Because the team of Man United is really unpredictable. If there is a team you cannot really bet on this season, it's Man United. It has shown you that even when we go 3 goals up against a championship team, we bottle the result. We implode. That is it. We implode. You know, it has been really happening when you're really leading by banana skin. You all understand. You know, with the banana skin lead, we've gone ahead to lose to Chelsea, drawn with Liverpool, drawn with Brentford, drawn with Bournemouth. You understand? So that is how ugly it gets. That's how it gets. Now, if even against championship teams, we cannot really maintain our lead of 3-0, what is happening at the club of Man United? What is happening? We are not giving and not really taking this serious. And I tell you what, the manager of Man City, known as Pep Guardiola, after beating Pep Guardiola, after beating the side of what was the side they beat yesterday? They went ahead to really knock out Chelsea by 1-0. They went ahead to play into the final. He went ahead to put out the following, and read it, and we are going to react onto this before we obviously go into what we call the entire match. Pep Guardiola, with the prospect of another Man City derby in the FA Cup final, he said, "Respect Coventry, please." That's what the manager said. Did you know why he said that? Because you cannot cross the bridge before you reach it. I told you that we are going to win by 3-1. I had gone ahead to make my prediction right, because I knew to it that our side cannot really keep a clean sheet. That is it. I know our side cannot keep a clean sheet, and these players went ahead to obviously bottle it out to that level. And I was really pissed with the manager. I'm pissed with the players, because you can't tell me that you come in through and really do that shit. Now, let me start up with Erik ten Hag. Should I start off with Erik ten Hag? I start up with the players. Let me start up with the players. Let me come up and really show you the 2 goals, the last 2 goals we have gone ahead to concede. And I'm going to start with the players, because all these relate to Erik ten Hag on the mistakes he made on the substitutions. Now, 1. You don't keep Rashford onto the field of play, and you take off Garnacho. Now, you take off Garnacho, you bring on Anthony. Who is responsible for the second goal? Dallo gets the ball, plays into Anthony, you understand. Then Anthony leaves all, ignores the man called. You get? Anthony goes ahead to ignore, what is the name of the guy? Ignores Dallo, who had gone ahead to make a run to the byline. He cuts inside. He selfishly goes in for a shot at goal, and we lose out on that ball, and that's where we are counter-attacked into the shot that deflected off Aaron Wan-Bissaka into the back of the net. Who is the orchestrator of that? It's Anthony. And who brought on Anthony? It was Erik ten Hag. Was that substitute really called for? For my case, if he was to take off Garnacho, if he was to take off any player, it was supposed to be Marcus Rashford. Now, he leaves on Marcus Rashford. For the second goal, Rashford goes ahead to really run and really goes on the ground and says he was injured, yet the fact is the guy went ahead to make a clean tackle. After making a clean tackle, guess what happened? From there, they get a penalty because they ran into that space and Marcus Rashford was not there. Aaron Wan-Bissaka gets hold onto that ball and a penalty is given. So, after that penalty is given, all the fault is on Erik ten Hag. He knows Marcus Rashford has been injury prone this season. That is it. And he's been unfit. You take off Alejandro Garnacho, who went ahead to play 45 minutes against Bournemouth last weekend, and you take him off in a game you really think that can even prolong to go to extra time, and you leave on Marcus Rashford, who has gone ahead to really put in nothing and played 90 minutes in the game of Bournemouth and has gone ahead to be offering nothing for the club of Man United. All those substitutions were really crap. They were really crap. Very, very crap. And Erik ten Hag had costed us that game. Why do you stick with Marcus Rashford, yet he's doing nothing on the field of play? Because in that entire game, Marcus Rashford was doing nothing. Tell me anything that Marcus Rashford was doing on that field of play. Was it there? I don't find it there. Rashford was trash and he was doing nothing on the field of play. That is it. He was doing totally nothing. He was doing totally nothing. I tell you, Marcus Rashford was doing nothing on that field of play, and there is no reason as to why that manager kept Marcus Rashford onto that field of play. And that was the first mistake he made, taking off. He made the first mistake by taking off a guy called he made the first mistake by taking off a guy called Garnacho, who was really a better player than Marcus Rashford, and he kept on a player who was really shit. That guy was shit. Rashford has been shit this season, you know? And how do you tell me you are not really seeing this? If we the fans can see that Marcus Rashford is shit, why do you keep him on the field of play? Is it an order coming in from above that Rashford should be kept on the field of play? Right? Why take off Garnacho? Because for Garnacho, we've seen that him, Bruno Fernandes, Diego Dallo, and which other player? There are 4 players of Man United that have gone ahead to obviously play almost every game, and they haven't gone ahead to miss out on a game because of injury. Those are the players of Man United for you. So, if we are having a player who has proven that he can really go an extra mile in the game and is not injured, why do you take him off the field of play? And I think he regretted when Marcus Rashford, a player he thought that could obviously carry on, walked off that field of play, and his tail forces him on the field of play. The guy comes in when he's injured, and the manager keeps him on the field of play. Today, I tell you, I have no soft words for Erik ten Hag. I tell you. People have always gone ahead and really came here and told me, Rokani, you love Erik ten Hag, blah, 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 blah. But I tell you, there are certain games you come on and really defend the manager. But this one, there is no way to defend the manager because he had costed us this game. He had costed us this game. And when you look at the players we had, I tell you, it's not all whether we have one defender fit. it's not all we are really having very many injuries, because we came into this game of football when we are having Lisandro Martinez, Rafael Varane, Kamboala, Lindelof, those are how many? Evans, Luke Shaw, Tyrell Malacia, Anton Martial, Mason Mount, who else? Anton Martial. We came in this game of football when you're having close to 10 injuries, 10 injuries. But that lineup we fronted can really beat Brentford very, very convincingly. And that was shown in the first, 60 minutes of the game when we went ahead to obviously score 3 goals, But how do we miss out on where we're supposed to be? It's because the manager makes what we call stupid substitutions. Very stupid substitutions that Erik ten Hag has gone ahead to make today, and they would have gone ahead to cost us a game. I know I'm excited as a fan of Man United, but I tell you what, it reached an extent when I was like, we shouldn't be into the final. We shouldn't be in the final, because I was like, this is enough. This is enough for the club of Man United, and there is no way we deserve to be playing in the final. If you lead by 3-0, a side called Coventry pulls 1 back, hear me out, pulls 2 back, and pulls 3 back, and you cannot respond respectively as a team of Man United, then you don't deserve to be playing the final. You don't deserve to be playing the final. I tell you this. There is no reason as to why you're supposed to be playing the final. Why? Tell me. Tell me. We shouldn't be playing the final. You bottle a lead of 3-0 against a championship side, and you come here and brag. No way. No way. We should be playing the final. However much it's good, as I told you in the match day live, that at least we have to cap up our season with a trophy, against Man City, because if United beats Liverpool and Man City, our biggest rivalries, that is the hugest celebration that you'll ever get from a fan of Man United. That is written all over the wall, and you also know it very well that it is really like that. But I tell you this, those players at Man United, with the amount of money they are earning, most of them don't deserve to be at that club. Most of them don't deserve to be at that club. Now, I'm off the manager, right? And I'm going to the players. 1. Anthony, why don't you pass that ball to Dalot? Because Dalot was having acres of space, and Dalot was really exquisite today because he put in a very beautiful cross. He squared a very beautiful ball into the mouth of the goal to obviously find Scott McTominay. It was really very inviting to the corridor, and he tapped that ball into the back of the net, making that late run into the 6 box area of Coventry. Now, why do you deny him a chance? And you were on the bench. The best player on the pitch always comes off the bench because he knows exactly how the game has been flowing. He knows the exact flow of the match. But you bring on Anthony, he goes ahead to find himself losing that ball, and he doesn't track back. I tell you, if Anthony tracks back and makes that run, that man doesn't shoot that ball, because you have to wear and hold the responsibility. That is it. You have to wear the responsibility and get to know that I've gone ahead to lose that ball. I have to run to see to it that this opponent doesn't obviously get along and really cost us or really see us really concede a goal. That's what any elite player is supposed to do. And this is what Coventry has been doing, because you saw how much Coventry went ahead to track back. Not so. Coventry was all giving. Coventry was a side that was really giving and was really tracking back to the fullest. That is Coventry for you. So, but United, we are not tracking back where they're supposed to be tracking back. It's very absurd that even the bare minimums cannot be done by these players of Man United. And there is no way they qualify to be in that squad of Man United. They don't qualify. I tell you, very many players. Anthony, Dalot makes a run, he serves you in, and he makes a run, and you don't really play him that ball. You lose it, you don't track back, we concede. Stupidly like that. Then, after that, you really believe that you are a player of Man United, your mentality is not worth to be playing at Man United. Because the biggest disjustice you'll ever do to a right back is him making a run towards the byline and you don't play him in, because he has traveled all the way from the first third of the pitch to the final third of the pitch, and you don't play him in. That is the biggest disjustice you'll ever do to that guy. And for the second goal, you see Marcus Rashford, he makes a run, right? He makes a run, and he loses the ball. He goes down, and he doesn't even take a responsibility to track back. That's how we obviously cost ourselves. But I've gone ahead and let you know that all those mistakes were made by Erik ten Hag, but going ahead to acknowledge that Erik ten Hag went ahead to make a very big mistake of really not getting off Marcus Rashford and leaving Garnacho on and bringing on Anthony, who costed us the second goal. I tell you this, even these players should take responsibility. Look at how this team went ahead to really getting chances. This chance on how we are being broken down and gone through is really very, 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 very annoying. Let me show you this photo. Let me show you this frame. This is the reason as to why they went ahead to obviously cancel out our goal. Sorry, the goal of Coventry, the fourth one. And we are done. We were done. At the side of Man United, we were done. If this goal was counted, we were done and dusted. But look, help me make this make sense. Look, where is Bissaka going? Look at where your players are. This is Casemiro. This is Harry Maguire. Look at where Aaron Wan-Bissaka is. Why on earth would Aaron Wan-Bissaka be here? Look at where his players are. Look at where his players are. He plays them in. So these are things that are even beyond the manager, because you can't tell me that it's Erik ten Hag who tells Aaron Wan-Bissaka to play these players on side. No way he does. And he had a very bad game, because even the second goal deflects off his back to go into the back of the net. But I tell you, United went ahead to obviously go through to the finals by a slack of luck. I was like, this goal should be counted. I tell you, some people will say, Rokani, you are not a fan of Man United. But I tell you, tell me a reason as to why we should be to the final. We shouldn't be playing the final. Because if you cannot really meet the standards, then why are you supposed to be in the final? One will tell me we're having injuries. I tell you, injuries don't apply to this game. You look at these kind of players who come in through to play like this, and they know that on Wednesday we're going to be playing against Chelsea. We've gone ahead to play 120 minutes. We are having injured players, right? And you anticipate that we are going to get a result against Sheffield. I tell you, I can't trust Man United anymore, because every time you come out and really think they're going to do an easy job and they try to do it, they bottle it up at the end of it all. They end up bottling it up. And that's Man United for you. Bottling is the job they do better at the club of Man United. I think Harry Maguire, Dalot, Casemiro, they played very well. I don't know why Kobe Mainoo was taken off. Is it because he's injured? I don't know. To bring in Eriksen, because Eriksen came on through and that entire midfield was really porous. We couldn't obviously create chances for the number 9. And you ask yourself, why are we having these creative players? And you saw what Dalot came in through to do. You remember what he did at the beginning of the first half of the extra time. He came in through, he got hold of that ball and he laid it to Bruno Fernandes. And Bruno Fernandes had to hit that ball into the back of the net. Sorry, the frame of the goal denied him that goal. But can I ask you, Does it need an angel? Does it need God to go in front of Erik ten Hag and really tell him that, please, the best left-footed player that can play onto the right attacking side of the midfield is Amad Diallo. Look at what Amad Diallo did. There is nothing that Anthony did in that game of football. Amad Diallo got a cameo, and see what he gave us. It shows you that if he is given more playing time, he is going to become a very good player. He has gone ahead, obviously, put in what we call a lot of energy, and I saw him, he's really becoming mugged. I think they've told him that you should really put on weight, and you've gone ahead to see to it that he goes into tackles, shoulder-to-shoulder battles, and he wins them. So, what else does this guy has to do to see to it that he's gotten into where he deserves to be as a guy of Man United? So, this is really very annoying if I told you a fan of Man United that we've gone ahead to put up such a very ugly display against the championship side, and I tell you, no forgiveness for any United player, no forgiveness for Erik ten Hag, because these are things that he has gone ahead to do that have gone ahead to cost us left, right, and center. And if you're a fan of Man United, I tell you, you should worry. You should worry, because if we don't have some good amount of money, these players are going to be here. The same players that have gone ahead to cost us are going to be here next season. They're going to be here. And what are you going to do? What are you going to do? You know, Onana did his job. He kept us in the game. There is a very beautiful save he made, you know, at the beginning of the second half. And he closed down these players very well. His distribution was really on point. But the players of Man United, you know, that midfield is really porous. I went ahead, obviously, read a story of Andreas Pereira comparing a United of this season to that of last season. He said, the United of this season is very porous. You can easily pass through the midfield. But last season, we are compact. You know? Now, do you think we are going to really go ahead and really get something positive again out of the game of Sheffield? I doubt, because Sheffield is a better side than Coventry, and they can come in through and really shock us at Old Trafford. And I cannot come here and really give you guarantee that we are going to come out and really be the winners. But I tell you, we don't deserve to be playing the final. However much I'm a player of Man United, I'm a fan, we don't deserve to be there. We don't deserve to be there. We don't deserve to be there, because we've gone ahead to put out the ugliest display I've ever seen a team put out. But when we go to what we call going in through to the FA Cup final, I think it's good for the club of Man United that we might find ourselves playing into a better position. Like, we'll be having players, you know, we'll be having players at Man United back, Lisandro Martinez, Verhan, and very many others back into the squad of Man United. And I tell you what, we need to obviously get going. And Opta just told us that Man United have failed to win a match in normal extra time, in which they lead by 3 goals for the first time since drawing 5-5 with West Bromwich in Sir Alex Ferguson's last game in May 2013. So it shows you that Man United had always gone ahead, obviously put in a very beautiful shift, and that shift has always gone ahead, obviously be giving and giving and giving. But Man United really looks bad. We really look bad. Very, very, very ugly. And I tell you what, this is a moment where the new the new technical director should go in and really sit down and really ask himself, what is wrong with Man United? And he was there seated, you know, Jason Willox was there seated at Wembley. Let me show you him. Man United's technical director, Jason Willox, sat with David Gill, and this is Willox, and this is David Gill, seated there. Sir Alex Ferguson was there, and I think as a person who knows the game of football, he has obviously gone ahead, obviously, to communicate with the guy that is, Omar Berada and any other people there, that please, this is really not giving. We should do something immediately, because if we are to really go better and become a better side as a club of Man United, there are things we should be doing. There are things we should be doing better and better and better at the side of Man United. One, we should offload players. I tell you, I know most of you in the comment section be like, a player, we should first sack the manager. I don't think that sacking the manager is the first thing. Let's first really get these players off. these players should be really shown what we call the exit door, because they are really very, 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 very non-competitive. They are earning huge amounts of money. What are they doing here? What are they doing here? They are supposed to obviously go ahead and really get out of this club. They should be onto the next bus. Close to 10 players should be shown the exit door, because Jason Willicks is really that kind of person that is really going to be in charge of our summer transfer window. That is it. He should see these players out. But before I go into the player ratings, Rasmus Hojlund got another third assist coming in through from a third ball, coming in through from Bruno Fernandes. In the season, I've always told you that Bruno Fernandes hasn't gone ahead, obviously, find this guy. But today, he has found him, and Rasmus Hojlund really took very many touches, but would have gone to score around the 89th minute in here. And this is what Rasmus Hojlund had to do: shoot. And he never went ahead to shoot. He got swamped up, and after he got swamped up, he couldn't obviously get himself into a better area. But again, he was in a graveyard shift in the entire 120 minutes went ahead to play, because they couldn't aim at him. We never had composure in the final third, and I tell you, if we were more composed, Man United would have gone ahead to obviously score even very many goals. Very, very many goals would have gone ahead to go into the net of Coventry, but Man United was not composed enough to obviously kill it off, because pressure amounted onto us. We gave them a chance to play into the game. We could play well from the back, but we couldn't obviously break that line. And you ask yourself, why don't we really make usage of Rasmus Hojlund's height and pace? But all the players, Garnacho couldn't play in, Rashford couldn't. By the way, one of the worst players on the field of play has been Marcus Rashford. He was the worst player I've gone ahead to see onto that field of play. A lot is to be talked about, but I think time is not our best ally. But let's go into the stats and really see how many did we have, what shots, what number of shots on target, and how many were really off target. Now, 18 shots by Coventry, 28 by Man United, 5 shots on target by Coventry, 6 shots on target by Man United. Very, very bad. How can you have 6 shots on target out of 18 shots at goal? Very bad. 42% ball possession by Coventry, and then 58% ball possession by Man United. 581 passes completed by Coventry, 812 passes completed by Man United. 81% passing accuracy by Coventry, 87% passing accuracy by Man United. 0 fouls by Coventry, 10 fouls by Man United. 3 yellow cards by 3 yellow cards by 3 yellow cards by Coventry, 2 yellow cards to Man United, 0 red cards to Man United, 1 offside to both sides, 6 corners to Coventry, and 8 corners to the side of 6 corners to the side of Man United. But that is really very worrying, and you worry a little bit that if you are playing City in the final, do you know how they are going to annihilate us? They are going to really put us to the sword. You have to worry, guys. You have to worry. I tell you this. You have to worry as to why we are really going to play in the final. You know, however much other players are going to be there, but do you believe that this team is really very giving, and it can really do you believe that this team is really very giving and it can really take us to the promised land? I tell you the answer is no. They cannot take us to the promised land, and you cannot bet on Man United at any time. And penalties went ahead to save us. Hojlund Onana saved one, and the other player went ahead to hit it in the clouds. You know, we just got saved by that, but we were not supposed to be here. We're not supposed to be here. And I tell you, for everyone who says that Ten Hag should get a sack, I think you think that the problems of United start with Eric Ten Hag. They don't start with Eric Ten Hag. They start with the players. They start with the players. And I tell you, after putting up a very good fight, you know, at the board level, we need to obviously rectify the players. After rectifying the players, you obviously call in for what we call a very good goal. And that very good goal is brought in by the board. That's what we're supposed to be doing at the club of Man United. If you think we should be doing something better than that, I don't really think so. I don't think so, that we should be doing something better than that. All I believe is we should get going and obviously get ourselves in the position of really getting these players out, because they are the constants. Bijura Prita, sincerely speaking, even though we have gone through, even though we've gone through to the final, Ten Hag can't be a match. I don't believe in this. I don't believe in this. I don't believe in this, guys. However much went ahead to make substitutions, that went ahead to cost us. Do you look at the players? Do you look at the players? Rashford, the manager is going to need to trust you, even when the fans of Man United are like, Rashford shouldn't be playing here. The manager has trusted you. You cannot even skip past a right back of a championship side. And you really blame that on the manager. These players should first leave. If there is anything Ineos should first do, let's get the constants out. These players that have been here for a very long time and they haven't gone ahead to obviously produce results should be on the next bus out of Old Trafford. Sheikh says, hey bro, Man United, they were joking. How can you beat a team 3-0? Not they come and score it at back. Something is wrong. Something they have to fix. The problem as to why we concede these goals, one, players down tools. Players don't track back. That is it. They don't track back. They don't track back. When they lose balls, they don't track back. But I tell you, on those two occasions, all right, Rashford limped off the field, but I wanted to see him get off the field of play and run and really show to it that, all right, I'm really dying a little bit for this team. Did you see Rashford doing anything that was really like, I want to be playing the final? Did you see him do that? He never did that. He never did that. And I tell you, he doesn't deserve to be at the club of Man United. If there is a player that doesn't deserve to be at Man United, he should be Rashford, because he's one of those players that should be knowing what United winning is all about, what going to play in the final is all about. But did he do that? He didn't. Did he do that? He didn't. So why should you spare him and go to the manager? For me, I don't want Ten Hag to go, because I think we have some amazing players that he needs to obviously groom, and he needs better players that can do the job. That is it. Oyika Moses, bro, the game was very poor. That is it. Henry J. Uganda, we didn't deserve a win. Silly team. We never deserved to be in the final. We never deserved. But luck went on to us, because no team deserves to really go in the final after losing a 3-goal lead. Blessed last, Ten Hag has poor tactics. For me, all I think is that Ten Hag has tactics, but these players are really not ready to obviously do the job. That is it. I can tell you this. These players are not ready to obviously do the job. They are not ready to do the job. That is it. Because even the bare minimums cannot be offered by these players. And you think that the managers are going to hate to criticize him, but I ask you, do you think the manager is the problem? To show me that the manager is the problem, do one thing. Get him the right people at the board that we're going to need to do. After, get him players. Next season, he performs poorly, he gets out. He's out. United, like, they play 2 days before. All right, yeah, they had gone ahead to play a game of football on Saturday. We've gone ahead to rest for a week. But did you see any energy? No energy. Sendagire Joshua, God be to glory. Blessed Les already defends Ten Hag but has no future. Ten Hag has the future. I tell you, I want Ten Hag here because of very many reasons. You know, we should get the constants out. There are players here that don't deserve to be here. Let's do some good recruitment. After doing some good recruitment, the rest is going to be history. For the club of Man United, the rest is going to be history. We need to see to it that we get these players out as up. Let's accept Dutch League is not comparable to the Premier League. But this is the same manager who came through and really did the results. There was same thing with Jose Mourinho. Why is it that for every manager who comes in through to do the job, does well in the first season, second season, the players let him down? Do you think the manager is always the problem? No, because when the manager comes in through, the players are like, let's show that we are really good to go and we're going to do the job. Then after, they say, all right, let's obviously down tools. That's the mentality of these players, and we should really kick their asses and get them out. Akuguziwe Sebastian, hey, already Garnacho was not supposed to be substituted. Ten Hag was supposed to substitute Rashford. That is it. I said at the beginning of the game, at the beginning of this video, Ten Hag went ahead to do a very huge mistake onto that, because you are keeping a player who is not really doing anything, and you expect him to come in through and really do the job. We are having blessed Lars. Ten Hag embarrassed his bosses today. He embarrassed himself. And Webby Siwale, Ten Hag is just inviting sacking. I understand, but I think they're gonna let him be on the job until the end of the season, and the decision will be made. Oyika Moses, bro, is Rashford injured now? Because if I'm very, very happy, bro, I hate Rashford. And to me, I tell you, there are some players that are supposed to get injured for this team to do better. Rashford's injury is always a blessing in disguise, and I don't want him to be out. I want him to be out of the team, because every time he's available, Ten Hag forces him on the field of play. And you might find out that when you're playing against Sheffield on Monday, Ten Hag puts him in the starting 11. And why? Why should Rashford, who can't skip past a player of the championship, be in the team? And that's where I say, if Erik Ten Hag gets sacked the club of Man United, he would have gone ahead to obviously give himself a sack. I tell you, if Ten Hag gets sacked, he'll be responsible for his sacking, because I would rather start Ahmad and Garnacho other than starting Rashford, because he's really very bad. Emerson, we have a stubborn coach. Any serious coach can't play Rashford, always getting wrong substitutions. You're right about that. And I think I've gone ahead to slate Erik Ten Hag onto that. But after slating Erik Ten Hag onto that, if you're Rashford, you're on the field of play, you are one of the longest serving players of Man United. You've got ahead to grow in Manchester, born and bred in Manchester. You've been part of the team of Man United. You know what it means. How do you lose? How don't you perform against a championship side? Very stupid boy. Oyika Moses, I cast the woman who gave birth to him. Right? That is really your option, not mine. Yona, actually, I like Man United, but my players can make me cry. I tell you, there are certain things that you don't have even to obviously blame the manager. All right, he has gone ahead to make a mistake in substitutions, right? Now, you the players, what have you gone ahead to do? Because if a manager is being seen as backing you, why don't you come off the field of play and really prove we who think you shouldn't be playing on the field of Man United? Wrong. Make us Mr. Marcus Rashford, Lawal, let's just sack him. Sacking the manager is not the problem. I tell you, you have to first clear out those players, because they are not of elite quality. And an overhaul should be really done. We should do what we call a shake. You know, we should shake that bottle and get these players out. We should sell Anthony Rashford already. We have their replacements. I think they should be sold. They should be sold and taken out. Katebera Richard, Ten Hag, Anthony Rashford, Casemiro, Eriksson, Maguire should all go. How can you play a midfield with only Kobe Mainoo? For me, I think Anthony, Rashford, Casemiro, Eriksson, Maguire should go. Get the manager better players that are really young and energetic. You know? And we see, if he fails under Ineos, I tell you, I'll be here telling you, Ten Hag should be sacked. But he's trying to make himself get a sack. I tell you, Ten Hag is making himself get a sack. Rashford and Ten Hag are our problem at Man United. I don't think Ten Hag is the problem. The players are the problem, because if the players go onto the tactics of this manager, I think would have gone ahead to win very many games. But because these players coming through and do what they feel like they're supposed to be doing, they've gone ahead to cost us a season, and that is really very bad for people like these players, because you shouldn't be letting your manager down like that. No way you shouldn't No way you should be doing that. Gomez, an useless team. I know where you people get the pain from. Then I've ended where there is a useless team. All right. Amos says, guys, Ten Hag, time is up. I don't know why Rashford was on the pitch. I don't think that is Ten Hag to blame. I've gonna hate to blame him, but if I do a brought on the field of play, you should really do the needful as a player. Mohoezi, the problem is the coach. Greetings. Please, Ten Hag is getting sacked in tomorrow morning. How can you bring Eriksson in this game, leading 3-0? For that, I don't think that he needed to obviously bring him on, because that game, there is no way we are fighting for the Champions League spot. Why do you take off Kobe Manu? Leave him on and see how this game goes on. Let him play 90 minutes. Opejo, why is it that we are the only ones with stupid injuries each and every time? It's all about United not having a fitness coach, because Ten Hag recommended us to get one and the board was like, no way. You get? But I know with these people I've gone here to come in through Ineos, they know exactly that we should be having a fitness coach. Gordon Muhwezi, disaster Rashford. All right, Thomas Donker, Ten Hag should get a sack. I don't really agree with you. Amos, guys, I have been defending Ten Hag cause. I'm sorry to say he should go. All right, Nalimo, Joel at the finals. I don't want to see Rashford and Eriksson. Obviously, Rashford will start. Because Ten Hag loves him unless he's injured. Philip, Gatihu, let Ten Hag get his Rashford. Let Ten Hag get this Rashford. Should not play ahead of Ahmad. Let him Ahmad play right wing. Garnacho left. Maino, unless injured, should not have been substituted. I know he's not injured. What injured him? Opio Ivan, Rashford was the worst player, and ideally call Eriksson to sack, Erik Ten Hag to sack. Amad Diallo is better than Anthony and is making stupid substitutions. I've gonna hate to say this lots of times that Amad Diallo is better than Anthony. I don't know why the manager doesn't really give him a go. Chisa Ibrahim, thank you for watching through. Idrissa Kamara, how can you explain this? A championship team 3 goals down. I can believe if Man United or Ten Hag plays today, let them know. All right. Kanki Zire Ronald, seriously, in the last 5 games, Erik Ten Hag has gonna hate to play Rashford. You're right. Then Thomas Donker, just look. This Man City played against Madrid at Bernabeu. Pep did not change anyone unless Foden got injured. Always Ten Hag. But for Ten Hag, he had injuries. And that's why other players are really out there. And for everyone who says Ten Hag should get a sack, Asija David, Erik Ten Hag should be sacked. I tell you, for everyone who says Ten Hag should get a sack, I don't agree with you, because sacking Erik Ten Hag isn't the solution. What I'm happy about Man United is now we have people who know the game. And I tell you, people responsible at Man United Ineos is going to tell Erik Ten Hag and call him in office. And they ask him, how is that possible? You know, Saja David, Erik Ten Hag should be sacked. Akinze Ronald, Anthony is back on form. Anthony really costed us the second goal and he never really tracked back. And by the way, played very badly in this game. Deizion, actually, the game was very poorly and coach's tactics are fake. The tactics were okay, but why do we concede those goals? That is the huge question. Why do we concede those goals? Sendagire Joshua, very many comments. Ten Hag shouldn't be sacked. You are speaking. I want to let you know that you should really look beyond the coin and you should flip the coin always. Everyone who is saying that Ten Hag should be sacked, then maybe football is not meant for you, because the constant that we've got to hate to do ever since Alex Ferguson left is sacking managers. Can we really stick around with the manager and let him really work with the board that knows what to do? If Ten Hag is kept here next season and he performs like this, I'll be the first person to say in the first 10 games of the season, if Ten Hag gets the results he has gone ahead to get this season, in the first games of the season, I'll tell you, he should be sacked. And if you are Ineos, there is one thing you should look at. We need money to obviously be here, and they need close to £20 million to compensate Erik Ten Hag and his team if at all they sack him. Ten Hag is left with one year on his contract. What do? Let him manage this season and don't give him a new contract. That is, don't trigger that one option here on his contract. That is it. Unless otherwise, he reaches January when I was going to hit to perform very well. That's when you give him a contract. But I don't want us to spend £20 million onto Erik ten Hag and get in a new manager and spend close to £30 million on getting him, because all those managers, even if Zidane is done, he will need a sign-on fee because he's not having a job, and we call in for hefty salary. So I think the best thing we should do at the club of Man United is this. One, leave Erik ten Hag here, get out the players, get in players, and build for the next manager. You know, use Erik ten Hag to see to it that he puts these players together for the next manager, like what Pep did when I think Mancini was here. Was it Mancini? Or I think, was it Mancini? Who was here? Was it Mancini? I think when Pep Guardiola was at Bayern Munich and signed a contract with Man City, there was a manager there. I think it was Mancini, right? And when Mancini was there, he was used to build for Pep Guardiola. So if they don't have him in their plans, they have to keep him here, let him run his contract down, and let him out and get in a manager that I believe can really do you a job. But why should we spend £20 million that we need to use in the summer transfer window onto a manager that he's left with just 1 year on his contract? Let us use him to test him with the 1 year left on his contract. Let him go and don't compensate him. That is it. Kaknize Ronald, why should he substitute Garnacho? That is really the huge question. Massa, Chimona, absolutely, he has to be sacked. Have you gone ahead to know? Do you know the financial impact of sacking Erik ten Hag onto the build-up they're supposed to be doing at the club of Man United? We don't have much money to spend in the summer transfer window, and you want us to spend more 10 onto the manager, sacking him, and then you want us to obviously get in more money, right? You want us to get more money to obviously pay the new coming manager. I don't find that valid, guys. I don't find that valid. Guys, don't you think we are going to score more goals if Rashford was slowing? Rashford slowed the game. Rashford slowed the game. And I never saw him really do any penetrative pass to any of his players. He first found himself swamped and having nothing to use the ball for, and he thought about, oh, I should be really playing this. Very naive about him. Idrissa Kamara, Ten Hag will leave Man United. And Rashford should leave fast. For me, Rashford should leave fast. Rashford should leave fast. Silva, Onyeit, Rokani, have you agreed with me that Amad Diallo's I've always gonna hate to say this. Silva, I'm the champion of saying this. I've said this again and again, that if there is a player that gets us more and more and more and more and more and more and more on the page, I've gonna hate to point out Amad Diallo, and I've said he should be starting games. He should be starting games. Amad Diallo should be starting games of Man United. Then I'm having a poll. You are talking of giving him right players. What about the ones you brought in? What have they done for him? I think if the players Ten Hag brought in are here, especially Lisandro Martinez, Tyrell Malacia, Rasmus Hojlund, Casemiro, I think we're a better side. We're a better side. Out of the players he brought him through, I think Mason Mount has been injury prone and I don't really judge him. He's in his first season. Eriksson, the first season performed very well, but there is a very huge drop off this season. I don't think that out of the players we're going to hit to sign, most of them are going to hit obviously not to show us the best. Onana, you see I was going to hit to go into the game. Rasmus Hojlund is doing great. Amrabat, on and off, he's on loan, so that's not to blame. Never spend out of money on him. But Anthony has very many question marks over his game. I think the most questionable player that Ten Hag brought in is Anthony. But in the summer, we brought in Onana. We brought in Mason Mount, Amrabat on loan, and who else? Rasmus Hojlund. Rasmus Hojlund is doing great. Onana is doing good. Amrabat is always going to go back. I think Mason Mount is the big question mark. And that is it. I always blame Erik ten Hag on certain players, Luxor and Anthony. Those players are not performing enough and they shouldn't be starting any single game. I agree with you. Thomas Donker, the problem is that our manager as of now don't have any pattern to play. So you people, you think a pattern of play is really developed in a single season. At Spurs, managers don't have pressure. And trust me, Spurs have better players. I tell you, there are players at Spurs that get straight to the team of Man United. I tell you, Van der Ven gets into the team of Man United. You get? Yefis Besuma gets into that midfield of Man United to partner Kobe Mainoo. James Maddison gets into that team of Man United and displaces that guy called Bruno Fernandes. Kulusevski displaces every player that plays onto the right attacking southern midfield. You get? On the left, Son Heung-min plays better than Marcus Rashford and Garnacho. I think the only players that we have that can stay, if you are to make a combined 11 with Tottenham Hotspur, I think Vicario and Onana, there is a very huge argument there, but any of those can get. Darlow and Pedro Porro, a very huge debate in there for you. I think Luke Shaw, who is fit, is better than Udogi. Lisandro Martinez only gets into that central defense of Tottenham Hotspur. There is Kobe Mainoo and Rasmus Hojlund, but the rest of the players are really not getting to that team. And if you're comparing Man United with Spurs, I tell you, Spurs has better players, especially in the midfield. You know, they have better players than us. Rashford, I'm having Erina Ochan. These players are supposed to be playing in the team like Cardiff. They shouldn't. Most of them shouldn't be playing here. I've said this very many times. Karanga, Jackson, Rashford, given only one season. No more season to give Marcus Rashford. How many times should we give him another season? You know, he's here earning 300 grand per week plus, and you keep him here when he's performing like that. Amos Abedekani, but already if Ten Hag should stay, he should learn what is called man management. Because if he has a good man management, but I think he's really good management. You think Rashford, people, I'm not going to respond to Rashford's mental health. If at all he believes that he's having problems with mental health, let him beg out for a holiday. Because why should he be starting every game? I like Ten Hag. He showed us last season that he's good manager. But the problem is the players like Rashford, Anthony. Yeah, the players are the problem, I tell you. There is no way you can compete with players who really cannot come out and really even run. You know, the bare minimum of this game is running, but they cannot even meet the basics of the game. Eddie, Man United, a win to wipe about. All right, that is it. We should wipe about it. Eddie Rita, I think Rashford should leave the club, and Garnacho should leave the club of Man United. And if I told Man United, I should go to PSG. I tell them, you have 70 million pounds for Marcus Rashford. We give him to you. You take him. You take him because he is past his prime and is descending, right? Katebera Richard, buying useless expensive players a season after the other by our instructor. Ten Hag, the club is only sinking a season after the other. All we need is get the players out. I've always told you that. If you want to get to know that after the board, the players are the problem, it's because you try to make a combined 11 of Man United and the teams you are competing with, even if it's Aston Villa. Onana starts ahead of that guy known as Martinez. Darlow right back. Left back Luke Shaw. I think Diego Carlos starts alongside Lisandro Martinez. Then let's talk about the midfield. I tell you, Kobe Mainoo starts in the team alongside Douglas Luiz. Bruno Fernandes in the mix. When we go on to the right, Leon Bailey, Olmo Diabe starts. On the left, I think Garnacho gets a nod. Leading the line, Ole Watkins. Now, we are talking about teams that don't have the budget that we have. Teams that don't even pay players as much as we pay them. But they're having close to 6 players that can get into our team if at all we make a combined 11. That shows you how bad this team is. Now, try to make a combined 11 of Arsenal and Aston Villa. Arsenal Spurs. I'm going to be making it on the Rokani Media Football, I think on Thursday next week. And you'll get to know exactly what I'm talking about, that we are not having good players. Our players are really bang average, most of them. Right? Man United, Bisegura says, Mr. David, we need new wingers like Hammerville on the left, Desire. I think we need, the players we need at Man United are, we need a Rafael Leao onto the left. You get? We need a Rafael Leao, and we should let Amad Diallo be our right attacking midfielder. We need a better central attacking midfielder in the team of Man United. That is it. Who is better than Bruno Fernandes to compete with him? Bruno shouldn't be there knowing that he is the only number 10 we have at the club. Sergio Ratcliffe not about it. We need a CDM. We need 2 central defenders. New. We need like 6 players in, and we need to obviously get out players. But I think Somerville is good, but not at the level of Man United. We need the Rafael Leaos of this world, the Kavishkarias. We need top class players to come here. Young and top class. Paul Anthony, all that money doing nothing. Can he account for Anthony's money? He even gets ashamed of that and put him on the page, leaving Ahmad, who is better. But, can I tell you this? Who was responsible for allowing the money to flow from the account of Man United to the account of Ajax? It was the board. I've already told you that before we rectify things at the top, all what we're talking about is really background noise. But because we are having Sir Jim Ratcliffe, Dave Bracefold, and this guy called Jean-Claude at the top, Amal Berada is the CEO, the technical director is in, that is, what is his name? Jason Willox. Now, let's first do a thorough transfer window with Man United, with Erik ten Hag. If he fails, we sack him. He goes without working out with our money. We need money to spend this summer. And why should we use the money to spend on players that we want, to obviously pay it to Erik ten Hag to leave, get in a new manager? You're supposed to pay him, and you're supposed to pay him a big check. That is it. So, before you blame Erik ten Hag, who was responsible for not getting in Anthony? Because Erik ten Hag came in through at Man United and put in his list. He told the board, I want Anthony. Around June, Anthony was for £50 million. Why didn't United go ahead and really sign that player when he was £50 million? Remember, United wanted to sign Anthony and Cody Gakpo. The money we were supposed to sign Cody Gakpo was used as a top-up to get in Anthony. Stupid business people, because they really took long to really get these deals done, and we're getting in people who know what it means to kill off deals. I tell you, this summer, we are going to get in these players early enough. We are going to get in these players early enough because of the people that are really doing a better job. Rita, Che, you know you have talked of Marshall, that player shouldn't come back. Marshall is out. Marshall is not coming back. Marshall is not coming back. And I'm having Eddie Video Star. Please, make pertinent points about the match. Big Chris play Goldbridge. I went ahead to obviously talk about the game at the beginning of the video. If you feel like you want to know my thoughts about the game, go to the beginning of the video. I cannot be like Goldbridge. Goldbridge is Goldbridge, and this is Rock and David. I have my own narrative. And at the beginning of the video, I talked about the game. And now, I'm answering questions of the people into the live chat like I'm doing to yours. Hassan Ibisegura, our wing players need some good backup for sure. We don't need backups even. We need people that can dislodge them out. I want a Rafael Leao or a Kvaratskhelia onto the left of Man United. You get? I want a Zubimendi, you know, a Zubimendi or who in that central midfield, you know. I want a player who can come in through and really be a starter. These players are doomed. And I tell you, if our lineup next season is Onana, Dallo, Shaw, Todibo, Lisandro Martinez, Zubimendi, Kobe Mainoo, Bruno Fernandes, Olise, Rafael Yao, and Rasmus Hojlund, I tell you, we can be one of the best teams in the world. Because I know Todibo and Lisandro Martinez will give us the best cover in our defense. Zubimendi, or any other decent CDM who is young, will give us a very decent cover for the back four. They'll shield it very well. Olise will get in more assists for the number 9 of United, that is Rasmus Hojlund, and Rafael Okaveshkeria will skip us players and make the perfect end product to their game. Amos Abedikeni Aradi, do you think even one United player gets into United and City combined? Yeah, they do. I think Kobe Menu gets in there, Dalot gets in there, Onana gets in there, because Pep Guardiola is an admirer of Onana and he likes his game. And if we're going to say that Onana's going to hate to go into the game, he no longer makes the mistakes he used to make way back. That is Andre Onana for you. I think Rasmus Hojlund can, and Garnacho can. I think we have like three, 4 players that can, like 4, can get to the team. I think Onana, Dalot, Kobe Menu, Rasmus Hojlund, maybe Garnacho. That is it. But the rest of the players cannot come close. They cannot come close. That shows you how bad we are. That's how bad we are. And Paul says the only coach we lost was Van Gaal. Oh God, that man. You understand? And even if it was Jose Mourinho, if I only had a decent board, we would have gone ahead to do things, because a decent board draws a structure on which you're going to play. But to show you how disorganized that board of Man United was, they've gone ahead to recruit managers with different style of play. Moyes had a different style of play. Van Gaal had a different style of play. Mourinho had a different style of play. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had a different style of play. Ralf Rangnick had a different style of play, and Erik ten Hag is having a different style of play. So that shows you how disorganized that board was. And now I'm happy that Ineos is in here, and we are going to see some huge changes in the club of Man. I tell you, with effect from next season, we are going to be a better club. We might not win trophies, right? We might not win trophies, but I tell you, we are going to put up a lot to our opponents, and they're going to really feel us. Then I also liked Louis van Gaal. I remember in 2015 I had not gone ahead to start this YouTube channel, but I told one of my friends called Boda Francine, supports Man United. I told him that, please, it was a very huge mistake to let Louis van Gaal go and get in Jose Mourinho, because when you look at how they're going to integrate the academy and these other experienced players, it was really exquisite. And Rashford, this other guy called Jesse Lingard, Anton Martial, Memphis Depay, the Taylor Brackets of this world, the Bostwichs, the Dale Blinds. They all needed that third season. If at all they kept this manager here, would have gone ahead to be very giving. But because for them, they had a contract with Adidas that the moment they obviously go ahead and really lose out, onto those games like that, and they miss out the Champions League, they were like, we are doomed. That's why they obviously went ahead to sack managers, because they never wanted to miss out money from the Champions League. All they wanted was the money to take them to the Champions League. They never worried about winning trophies. So that's why they did it. Someone was talking about Amadou Onana, Hassan Bisogeda, and Yao Neves. Yeah. Yao Neves, good player, and Amadou Onana, good player. They really make a very good midfield. And even if we go in and get in Paulinho, he can give us some 3 good seasons. He's a proven Premier League player, and I think he can offer better than Casemiro. When you look at Paulinho, good player that I think can do the job at the club of Man United alongside Amadou Onana, because Yao Neves is good by the price. He goes for like £100 million, but £100 million can get you Paulinho from Fulham and Amadou Onana from Everton. You bring them into that midfield, you add in a Todibo, you get in an Olise on the right, you get in a Rafael Yao on the left. I tell you, we are a different side altogether, because you're talking of players whose talent is really good. They have a very high ceiling ahead of them. They are still young, and they are really effective in the game. Their end product is not selfish. They've gone ahead to create chances for their number 9s. You understand? Then Amos, but already, you are talking of good players joining. Do you think they are going to accept to join us? Yeah, they will, because who knew that Zinedine Zidane will be willing to take over the job of Man United? All of the times they've gone ahead to link him to us, he has said no. This time round, he's even taking English lessons to come in through to join the club of Man United. It shows you that there is something that's going to have to change and go ahead and really do the needful. That is it. So, they'll join us. I tell you, they'll join us. Kaveshkeria, Desire is our wingers. Kaveshkeria is really good. Kaveshkeria is really good. Asen Bisogera, Scavini, Gigio, and Sigkaman Muhammad in our defense, plus Patrick Dogu. I think we only need 2 central defenders. And for me, I would go first and foremost for a right-footed centre-back in Todibo, and we need a left-footed centre-back in like Inacio. You know, Inacio. If we can get in Inacio and Todibo, good to go. That is it. Sevilla's Nasiri can come in. Hojlund is out. I think we need a Benjamin Sheshko, guys. We need a Benjamin Sheshko. That is it. Ezekezi, I want young players now. I want young players. Let him come and compete with him. But I think Nyasiri is a little bit old. Seek Entertainment, I'm late here, but we need to clear old first. We need to, by the way, these following players should leave. Varane, Maguire, right? Evans should leave. Or you leave him there to obviously do as a backup because he doesn't earn out of money and can just be there. But we should get into central defenders and we should let him out. We should let out like 3 to leave. Aaron Wan-Bissaka should leave. Get in Frimpong. Casemiro should leave. Get in Yao Neves, Hojlund Onana, name it, Zubimendo of this world, or Paulinho into that midfield. Anthony, I think he should leave the club of Man United. You know, Sanchez going to hit perform at Borussia Dortmund, sell him off and really get in Olise, Kaveshkeria, all Rafael Yao. That is it. Then lastly, Besigenesi Kenneth. We just have no bench. Imagine bringing on Fosun for McTominay because we're having injuries and striking very hard. Thanks for few fighters like Onana, Maguire, Bruno, Diallo, and McTominay. Yeah, they fought. Even Dallo is part of that list that went ahead to forward to fight. Idris Kamara, how going to pay Man City with this team and you're going to win this final? The only way we can have a chance to win the final is when our players are back. That is it. Guys, thank you for watching in through. I sign out for now. See you later.